chance of doing that with as well is Miss Rena Evers, the daughter of the late Medgar Evers, and his wife, Mrs. Merle Evers Williams. If you talk to her today, it's like her and Mr. Medgar got married just yesterday.
Come on, baby.
Like, she loved that man. This woman spent 3 decades trying to get justice.
Yes.
And Mrs. Monique, as you mentioned earlier, we're talking about the hundreds of Emmett Tills that came after him.
Yes.
We see so many deaths like Trayvon Martin,
Yes.
Eric Gardner.
Yes.
No justice. Mrs. Monique, a lot of people in our community are trying to understand, where do we go? Like, what do we do with this anger? What do we do with this frustration? Like, we want to stir the kettle. We want to make their names be remembered, but how do we do it in the right manner?
Well, I don't know that I have the answer to that. However, I think that we have to go inside. See, they got us, and I want to be careful when I say this.
Yes, ma'am.
They got us praying for everything. Just give it to God. Well, what if God said, I'm going to give y'all back this shit? What if God ever opened up the sky and say, don't give me nothing? I've already given you everything.
Yes, ma'am.
So now y'all want me to fill my plate again with giving. What y'all going to do about it? What y'all going to do about
Faith
it?
without works is dead.
I hear so many people say, just let go and let God. Listen, do you see what has happened to our community?
Yes, ma'am.
As we have let go and let God?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if God was this person that was supposed to show up, we didn't let go for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, when is letting God going to take place?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we keep letting go and letting. Listen, we can't let go. I can't let go of you. Even if you get mad, even if you get offended. So, what you going to do? Because I guarantee you, you can't beat me up. I
Yes,
give
ma'am.
you my word.
Yes, ma'am.
I give you my word, baby. You can't win me in a cussing competition. I give you, what you going to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Because when we get to a place where we're scared of one another, we've lost.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've heard older women say to me, I'm too scared to say something to them young girls, honey. I refuse to be scared of you,
Yes, ma'am.
even if that means my life. I refuse to be scared of someone that looks just like me.
Yes,
So be mad because I said stop wearing them bonnets. Be mad. I'm okay with you mad, but it'll make you think.
Let me tell you, Miss Monique, I was so happy that you said something. They were laughing at me at work. I was sitting there, I was watching the video, and I said, there you go. Miss Monique, she get it every time. I was right there with you. And I didn't care because I was like, what I love what you said. You said, I said it, and I said it with love, which you did. Having pride in ourselves, talking about all these women, if you look at the elegance of these women, the poise of these women, Miss Merle Evers Williams, Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, who came from this was a sharecropper's daughter.
You saw what she looked like when she showed up?
Yes, ma'am.
You saw what was going on?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't tell me, well, black women going through stuff. We always been going through stuff.
And
we've been going through stuff since they got us off the boat.
Yes, ma'am.
So don't tell me about we going through nothing.
And the fact that sense of community I also feel is lost.
Yes.
It's like you said, my dad made a joke not too long ago back here because, you know, one of my cousins, she doesn't believe in whipping her kids and stuff. And he always make the joke. He said, I'm going to tell you what my grandma used to say to me. You not whipping them now, they gonna be whipping your tail later, you know?
Yes.
And it's funny because like back in the day, like if you did something wrong, like you stole an orange out the neighbor's yard, they got your butt, you got home, they whipped your tail too. So you got like 3 butt whippings waiting on you. And you know, I feel like now we have this separatism that is in our community where everybody's trying to outdo one another. And it's so sad because now when this is why I try to link, you can't compare the two, but when you look at the civil rights movement and then you look at the movement today like Black Lives Matter, I kind of feel like it's this tug of war feeling I have about it. And the only reason is because I look at the civil rights movement, I look at the strategy that they had. You know, they like every single day. This wasn't something we did for a matter of months and then we went back into our own comfort of our own homes. And I'm not criticizing, you know, anything, but I am saying that I see that that sense of community is not there. How do we get it back?
If we just realize what we come from. If I took my dollar and made sure I spent it with you. And then you took your dollar that I spent with you, and you added another dollar, and then you spent it with another sister. That's how we get it back. See, that's why I say a lot of what's happening now, in my humble opinion, is intentional. When you watch reality TV and they're showing us degrading, demeaning, belittling, they showing us and they pumping into our babies. So if that's what my babies are watching, well, what's, and then they sitting there watching it with mama.
Ooh, that part.
Now
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is it that we are instilling and pouring into and saying we can do better, we can be better? And we have this mentality now, I got mine, you got yours to get. Well, if you don't have yours, I really don't have mine.
That's
If
it.
you hungry and I'm eating lobster, something wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Something's wrong, especially if you simply didn't get the opportunities.
Yes, ma'am.
And we don't have any concerns about that or any worries about that.
Ooh.
So when I
Yes,
say
ma'am.
to us, it's like, listen, y'all, just ride through our communities. Just ride through them. Just ride through our communities where we live and look at how we taking care of it. Look at how we taking care of us.
Yes.
You know, when you said Merle Evers talked about her husband like it was yesterday, right?
ma'am.
I went to a nursing home, and when I would go to the different cities my whole career, I've always gone to the nursing homes in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
And everybody would say, oh girl, that's so sweet of you. Oh my God. I'm like, no, y'all missing it. They're feeling me. I gotta go sit down with these sisters so I can understand what to do, what not to do. I gotta watch them. I gotta study them. This one woman, I go into this nursing home, baby, and I go in loud. Oh, baby, I go in kicking the door open. Hey,
Yes, ma'am.
I am here, hey. And this one woman was sitting on her bed, and she was dressed in all her white things like church. You know, like
Oh, yes,
the
ma'am.
ushers
Most
at church.
definitely. Yes, ma'am.
She had her fingers crossed, and she was just smiling. So I said, what you waiting for, your boyfriend to show up? And she looked at me and said, baby, my husband loved me enough for the rest of my life. And then the nurse says to me, Monique, her husband's been dead for 20 years. Well, damn it, if I don't want that kind of
Ooh,
love,
I know that's
baby.
right.
She was sitting there like that man had just walked in
Right.
that. I mean, it was so pure and
Yes,
so
ma'am.
genuine and so beautiful. That's what our community is missing. We're missing that. We're missing our souls being fed. That's what we're missing. In my humble opinion, we're missing that, and not enough of us are willing to say, listen, we gotta get some order back. We gotta get us back.
Yes, ma'am.
We gotta pay attention to us. How are other people able to come into our communities and open up shop? What community were we able to go? Where's African Town?
Woo.
You got Chinatown, you got
I ain't
Little
found it
Italy,
yet, Miss
you
Monique.
got Little Mexico, you got all these in every city where you can go and get your special food because it's designated to that ethnic group.
Exactly.
Where's African Town?
Ooh,
I have never gone to not one city and they said, this little Africa. Where is it?
You know, they Miss Monique, the closest we got to it, they saw that, they got angry. They know who they are. They got angry when they saw all those black people generating all of that money on Black Wall Street up there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They saw that and woo, they got scared.
And so
because
did
we did it without them.
But they stopped us.
They stopped it.
That's what was
All
supposed to happen.
off a rumor. And it's crazy.
It's crazy because we stopped. We got so scared that we said, listen, I ain't willing to die over this for real. And then a lot of us start saying, it ain't worth it. They killed Martin, they killed Malcolm, they killed Edgar, they killed, so so we threw our hands up. And in throwing our hands up, look what happened. Look what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So to say, how do we get it back? We have to get us back.
That's it.
And we have to stop depending on, well, the government said, baby, the government has said a lot of things, okay? What are we saying? Well, you're going to give the church 10% of your money, but you can't pay your bills. And you waiting on a blessing like you playing the lotto.
Right.
It's the foolishness that our community has bought into. It is the foolishness that we have bought into, and we got so comfortable without asking any questions.
I remember my grandmother telling me, she said we used to be a people for ourselves. I was laughing because we were just, shout out to Granny. Because when he left, when we were packing up, you know, we were getting the car and everything together because, you know, we came all the way from Mississippi. I said, now, if we don't get here on time, I know something now. I said, now, I'm not going to be late for Mrs. Monique now. Not happening, you know. But when he got ready to, you know, park his car and everything, and when we were there, I said, one thing you ain't got to worry about, nobody messing with you right here. I said, 'cause this whole block is named after my grandmother. And don't nobody mess, if no other house, they are not going to touch this house and mess with this house. And I think that's, I draw a lot of my strength from her, but you know, there are a lot of people whose story, as you said, Mrs. Monique, everyone's story is different and unique in its own way. But we are all a part of the same family. You know, my great-grandmother used to say, I'm a part of you, you a part of me. Her life is my life, your life is my life. And what we have to do is, once we remember that, we can break down any curse, any problem, any issue, because there'll be nothing, we'll be unstoppable.
Well, when you start understanding scientifically who we are,
yes, ma'am.
This ain't nothing nobody that made up. This ain't nothing that they saying, I hypothesized. This is science.
Yes, ma'am.
About our melanated bodies.
Yes, ma'am.
It's intentional that we don't know. But then it's ignorant when we don't try to find out.
That's it.
It's like, listen, y'all. And when you say you just found out about Hazel Scott in college,
yes,
I just found out about Hazel Scott when I was 51.
Wow.
I just found out about Fannie Lou Hamer when I may have been in my 40s.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know about these amazing women. I just found out about a woman named Ma Rainey when I got the damn script.
Oh, wow. Yes, ma'am.
That's when I found out about that amazing,
Yes, ma'am.
beautiful, didn't take nothing
Yes,
from
at
nobody,
all.
but had a heart so full of love and joy,
Yes.
baby, and made her own money. And when she died, she died owning a mansion that still stands to this day. That is now a historical site, but we don't know that story. So, and oftentimes when they tell our stories, and I love Viola Davis. I want you to hear me. I think she's one of the baddest actresses on the planet.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
black. One of the baddest actresses, if not the baddest,
Yes, ma'am.
on this planet.
Yes, ma'am.
However, when I saw her play Ma Rainey, my heart broke because I said, y'all are showing her as a fat, greasy, mean woman.
Right.
And that's not who that woman was.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not who she was. That woman loved her people, got down for her people, took care of her people, owned her own train car, owned her own thing. Like, why are we showing her this way?
Yes, ma'am.
So I talked to Ma Rainey too. She said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yes,
You're going
ma'am.
to tell it. So oftentimes, we don't tell the truth about her.
That is so true, Miss Monique, because, you know, with this type of work, it's an uphill battle. You know, like I said, I had a time when I was over there in Oxford studying, and I was doing these different stories and stuff, and it became, you know, hard to do because I had so many people against me. I remember getting called black bees and some of everything because I ran a story on Trump after he won the election. And I remember fighting to the tooth and nail to get my story put on the air. They tried to bump my story. I expected it. I was one of 3 black journalists there. And so with telling our stories, do you feel that, well, I'm sure that you're going to say yes, but we as black people, every last one of us has a responsibility to continue to learn our story
Yes.
and to tell our story.
Yes.
If we are supposed to be a movement today, if we can't march in the streets, you know, let's not be a keyboard killer, you know, being on social media. What are the other things that we should do to help one another? Like we've talked about community and making sure we maintain our integrity, but what can I do? Like, I call you up, sister, I call you up, brother. What is it that I can do? Is it just checking on you today? Is it just making sure, hey, is there anything that you need? how can we lift each other up? Like, what is it that we can do to help one another?
You said it.
That's it.
If each one grab one, you never know who you grabbing. You've said it. It's just
Yes, ma'am.
each one. It ain't no bells and whistles. We not out in the middle of the street singing "We Shall Overcome." Well, damn it, listen. I'm tired of "we shall." We should have already.
That's it.
When are we going to add that verse in? We have already overcame it. When? I know Martin Luther the King, Malcolm X, Mega. I know they said, these niggas is still acting up. Damn. At what point, Malcolm? At what point, Malcolm?
Oh, it's funny, Miss Moon. I'm sorry. It's so funny when you said it. As soon as you said, I don't know why, I thought about one of my favorite male comedians, Eddie Griffin. Oh,
Yes.
my Lord, have mercy. I will never forget that segment he did. And he said, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, saying, when they going to change the name of that organization? Said, we ain't been colored in years. And he said, that's the problem. He said, but the funny joke is a lot of people still act like they are.
A lot of people still act like they have chains. And
That's
some
it.
of those people are billionaires. And that's when it gets really scary.
Woo, yes,
It's like,
ma'am.
well, money didn't change your fear.
That's good.
Money didn't change your fear. That fear is embedded. When I sit across from my brother Steve Harvey and he says, money over integrity, well, sir, you have enough money that you don't have to take any foolishness. That you don't have to be disrespected. But you're telling me money over integrity, that's what happened to our community. When you have a woman named Whoopi Goldberg that says to me, you can't worry about the little girl coming up behind you, that's what happened to our community.
Yes, ma'am.
When you have Oprah Winfrey telling people, don't call me auntie, I'm not your aunt. When you have Ava DuVernay saying, don't call me auntie, you make me feel old. That's what's happening to our community. Damn it, I am old. I'm half 100 plus 3. Give me mine. So if you want to give me auntie, I accept it with full responsibility. I am honored. But there will be some things auntie will say to you that might make you angry. So what? There were some things that had to be said to me
Yes, ma'am.
that made me angry. However, when I looked into the eye of the woman that was saying it, I knew she was loving me.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though my ego was bruised.
Yes,
Even though my feelings got a little hurt, but your feelings only get hurt when you're hearing the truth.
yes,
You can't hurt my feelings if it's a lie. But if you telling me my mouth too big and I know my damn mouth is too big and it's the truth, I gets up in my feelings. I gets up in my feelings, baby. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, like we need that bag.
Yes, ma'am.
Like we need that.
We do, because, you know, with discovering these stories, it was so many other greats, and I don't want to leave them out. It was so many other greats, but this story, for me, like I said, being a Black Mississippi native,
Please,
it hits
come
differently.
on. Yes.
I went down into the deep delta. I've seen the women and children that still live in shack houses. Shack houses. Some of them still don't have indoor plumbing. And see, even as we sit here and I say this, people are not going to believe me. That story in itself, from Fannie Lou Hamer starting Freedom Farms, because she was trying to feed her people, from her helping I met a lady the other day when I was down there in Ruville. She said, you know that half these houses you see on this block, Fannie Lou Hamer did that, right? Wow. She got them their homes. The thing that breaks my heart is she helped get all these other people their homes, but her home no longer stands. Her home no longer stands. And
But she still stands.
yes, ma'am. And when I tell you, as a Black woman, it makes me so proud to sit here across from you. I'm maintaining myself the best I can, but the best I can.
Me too.
But it warms my heart to hear you speak about, you know, looking out for the young sister that's coming up under you, because that's what you're doing for me right now. You didn't have to sit here with me today. You didn't have to take time out of your busy schedule to speak with me today. And you just spoke so much life, not only just back into me, but the hundreds of people that will see this. You just spoke so much life back into them, because we need that in a world where listen. I try to tell people we've dealt with racial violence, in the last couple of years. We've dealt with the pandemic, and we've dealt with a lot of people losing their jobs. But borderline poverty, a lot of people lost their jobs. And I started thinking, I was laughing, thinking about my mama. She made a really good joke. She said, well, dang, I thought that we had about made it. She said, it seems like every time we do get over a situation, here come another. Said, black people can't catch a break nowhere. And she said, hopefully by the time all this stuff ends, we probably all been died and came back.
Well, I know I done came back a few times. I was Harriet Tubman. You ain't gonna tell me nothing different. And I mean it. When I saw that movie, I was disappointed.
Yes, ma'am.
I said, how y'all gonna make her look like that?
Yes, ma'am.
I went to that woman's home. I had to touch her furniture. I had to breathe her in. Do you know that woman took some people away from here? Do you think that woman would allow a white man that was the master to her family to get up and walk away knowing the devastation that he would put back on her family? Is that what y'all gonna put up on that big screen for us to believe? You know Harriet Tubman had to shoot the shit out of some people. And I know y'all gonna bleep shit out, but that's what it was. She had to shoot the shit out of some of them people.
Oh, no, ma'am, no.
Even some of the people that looked like us. See,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm passionate about the sisters before me, and I want to address something. I did have to sit here with you today. We are obligated to each other.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say, I can't be late because it's Miss Monique, you can't be late when it's Shirlene Jenkins.
Yes, ma'am.
We always got to give us
Yes,
our best. And if we start treating each other like that, when you say, what do? That's how it starts. We give each other our best in this moment. I'll never forget it. You may never forget it. So we know when we sit in front of the next one, we remember the great experience we had with the last one.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how I think it gets better and we get stronger. For the black women that has such an impact, they're hidden intentionally. That's intentional.
Yes,
because if I can take away who you are, and if I can make you believe you're this, well, I can control that. See, there's a woman named Georgia Gilmore that not one teacher in high school, elementary school, middle school ever told me about. But there's also not one black leader that's ever spoken about this woman. I've never heard her mentioned with anybody. Well, it was because of this woman that the bus boycott could go on for so long, which means she was such a pivotal person
Yes, ma'am.
in that movement, but no one seems to talk about her.
Yes,
It was because of that woman that they didn't have to take the buses, because she made sure that the car notes were paid, the car insurance was paid, and they had gas in their car.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what that black woman did that we hear nothing about.
Yes,
And that's disappointing. And that black woman had a whole tooth. I want you to hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
A whole tooth missing in the front of her mouth,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
meant she could take a punch.
All right.
Which meant, baby, she could take one, but damn if she didn't give a few. I want to tell you something about my sister.
Yes, ma'am.
But what she did was, they made dinners.
Yes, ma'am.
They made cakes and cookies and pies, and they
Yes.
sold them at the barbershops and beauty salons to keep it going.
Keep it going.
Why don't we know about Georgia Gilmore?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and it's so many Georgia Gilmores.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is our obligation that the moment we find out about one of them, we're going to shout them. We're going to let them know it wasn't in vain.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't go away from here with nobody knowing what you did, because we know now. So we're going to keep on shouting. We're going to keep on talking. Georgia Gilmore is responsible for the meeting
Yes, ma'am.
of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That woman is responsible for getting those two men together. Now, you don't know that in history, and neither do I, but I feel everything in my spirit. I feel it in my spirit that it was that woman. You can get anybody together over a good piece of damn fried fish. I'm going to tell you something, and I know what she did. She set Martin down. She said, listen, Martin,
Yes,
I believe
ma'am.
in what you're doing.
All
But I
right.
can't go out there walking and marching because I have to punch one of them in their face. You see, Bubba done knocked my tooth out. And that's okay. That's okay, but Bubba got two of them gone. I don't fool
Yes,
with that.
ma'am.
Now, I'm going to talk to Malcolm when he come down here. Okay, and I'm going to tell them, y'all need to get together, baby. All this is just a month. I believe that with everything
Yes,
in me.
ma'am. And you know, Mrs. Monique, with all of that being said, I think that the only thing left that I can say is there a message, a direct message that you would want to send to Black women, to our Black men,
Yes.
and to the Black community? If there was a message that you wanted us to grasp today, overall, everything else,
Yes.
what would that be?
To all of my babies in our communities, this message is short and brief. We need y'all. That's it. We need y'all. And we need y'all in ways, baby, that 100 years from now, when we are no longer here, not one person watching this, you will no longer be here, but there will be somebody that if you do your part, that you'll impact 100 years from now. So please, to my community, we need us. We need us.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you,
Monique,
my
for
baby.
being here with me today. It has truly been an honor. Good blessings to you with everything, because you truly deserve it and more.
Thank you, my baby.
Thank you.
Y'all watch out for this little sister. Pay attention to her, baby. Pay attention to the ones that pay attention to us. Thank you, sweet baby.
That's it.